Underlying everything that I do is all around self-worth, self-education, improving yourself, realising what's important actually in life. My goal isn't that we've got a lot of money, it's that we're financially secure and stable enough to live a life that we want to live, so we can feel just that financial security but underlying happiness that goes with having less pressure.
Hello and welcome to the Mum Means Business podcast, where we shine a light on inspiring women who have one thing in common. When they're not managing tantrums, homework, PKs and play dates, they are busting their gut to create something from nothing, to turn their passion into a thriving business and build a better life for themselves and their families. We dig into what motivates devoted mothers to pursue entrepreneurship and how they integrate their work and family life. I'm Victoria, your host, and if you're an ambitious mum in need of some solidarity whilst navigating the messy middle of making your big dream a reality, then stick around. This is for you. My guest today is an NHS physiotherapist, content creator, and DIY queen. Over the past 6 years, she's successfully built a loyal following online under her brand name Banish the Beige by sharing real-life renovation projects, clever interior design solutions, and thoughtful makeovers in her family homes. I say homes because this savvy lady, along with her husband Christian, has renovated not one but 3 houses, all at the same time as having not one but 3 babies. Melanie Cooke is now sharing the story of her third renovation, a 1970s upside-down house in Chester. Blending style with practicality, she inspires other mums with innovative ways to create beautiful, functional spaces on a budget, all while juggling busy family life and work. How she manages to juggle all of this with 3 kids, I do not know, but I am keen to find out. Melanie, I cannot wait to hear your story. Welcome to the Mum Means Business podcast.
Thank you.
So you had a steady and I imagine a demanding job in the NHS. You and Christian were starting a family and you had a cute terrace house to do up. It would seem to most people that you had your hands full. So what made you decide to start sharing your story online?
Well, I just saw lots of people sharing their own stories, and where I got most of my inspiration from was from Instagram. So I thought, why not share our story? Also because we did things on a budget, and I thought some of the skills that we'd learned along the way would help other people in a similar situation.
Okay, and was it strategical? So did you imagine that you might become a DIY social media influencer?
No,
or was it
not.
just a bit of fun?
No, it was really just a hobby. The community back then in sort of 2018, 2019 was much different to what it is now. And I didn't know really any influencers back then, quite naively maybe, but I didn't have much social media. But yeah, I kind of fell upon it becoming a paid job essentially by posting 5 times a week for all those years before finally in 2021 getting my first sort of wage from it.
Okay, so that's quite a commitment.
Yeah, well, I felt like he knew that maybe something good was coming, but it was a long time. But also, I was on maternity leave and I was a bit bored, and it saved me. It saved my mental health, which is so weird to say in this day and age of social media, ripping people's mental health from them. But actually, it saved my mental health whilst I was in that first maternity leave.
I was going to say, so was that your first baby?
Yeah.
How did you find that? How much maternity leave did you have?
You get 12 months in the NHS, so I've had
nice.
12 months. Very lucky.
Okay. No, it's lovely. I mean, I was lucky as well. I had 12 months too, but not everybody does. But that's also quite a long time. It's quite a shock to the system when you go from busy physiotherapist, starting your life with your husband, very social, and then suddenly you have a baby and your whole world becomes your house for a while. How did that feel?
It was a major shock to the system. It was probably my most mentally unwell time of my life. So I had to seek quite a bit of mental health help from midwife, health visitor, GP, and ended up going to like a mental health group. And I struggled once it hit sort of 6 months, really. Rather than the first postpartum, postnatal depression, it hit me at 6 months, and I was probably actually at my worst, I would say, about 8 or 9 months. But then I started my Instagram in the December. He was born in the May and I started in the December, so maybe I was quite poorly then. I can't really remember. You know what? There is a blank segment there for me where I can't remember exactly starting it. I can't remember why as such. I knew it was about inspiration and I found this little community, but it really helped me through the days. You know, those slow days of waiting for your husband to get back from work to chat to and something to do and something that
Yeah.
I felt then I was contributing again. Because I always feel like whatever I do, I have to be contributing to the community and to society to feel valued. So doing the Instagram, yeah, I mean, and then I've utilized it then through my maternity leave with Florence and then my maternity leave with Ted as well. But yeah, actually, it was much, much better for me.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I think there's certainly a big identity shift that comes about when you have a baby. And there's something in there, isn't there, about just feeling like valuable because you kind of become, I mean, I don't know, if you breastfeed, you feel like you're just kind of a milk machine.
Yeah, yeah. And you're very
And
tired,
babies,
aren't you?
yeah, you're exhausted, you're not sleeping well, and you're going through the same rhythm
Mm,
every day.
yeah.
Did you struggle with that? Because, I mean, obviously, as well, Christian's going out of work. Did you feel like you had a support network around you?
When he was born, so I'm from Bury, which is North Manchester, and I moved over to Chester in 2008 with a boyfriend at the time, and then I ended up that relationship broke down, but I ended up with a job in Ruthin in a mental health rehab unit, like an occupational therapist assistant I was for a couple of years. And then I went into physio a bit later on. My parents lived in Bury still, and my Christian's parents were in Manchester as well at the time. Whereas my parents now have moved over this way, so they do much more for us, you know, from a childcare and support point of view. But yeah, I didn't really have that group of friends either because they were all in Manchester as well. So yeah, I was on my own. But I made friends, you know, I got out and I walked the dog around the dog park and I used to go to a couple of clubs or, you know, baby groups and that was okay. I made a couple of lovely friends actually there, but it didn't fill the whole day. It's not the same backup as your mum, is it? You know?
No, definitely not. I had my first at the start of the third lockdown, the last one. And my partner actually was sent on an emergency job to Oman when she was 7 weeks old. He didn't come back till she was 5.5 months. And we just moved into this house, which was a doer-upper at the time. And so, yeah, from like 7 weeks to I'd say when it opened up again, there was about 2.5 months there where I was quite isolated in this house. And I think you can go kind of stir crazy.
When was it? 2020?
20, she was born December 20, so this was the third lockdown, so 21. So we started opening up in April, and I'd had an NCT group, but it had all been put on Zoom, so we couldn't meet until April. And there'd been a bit of WhatsApp chat, but it's hard when you haven't met face to face. You're kind of WhatsApping strangers. But that first meetup, I was so ready for it. I was like, please give me company, like give me another mum to talk to because
Horrendous.
I'm going mental. It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, that's horrendous.
But much easier than for children since because your mum came closer.
Yeah, but I could manage them because as soon as you've got one, you're distracted, aren't you? You don't worry then
Yeah.
about the next one. You know, they're kind of like you go in to get the other one from school and there's different routine. Used to the sleep deprivation, you know, that was obviously the killer in the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
By the second one and then the third, it was water off a duck's back.
There's definitely an element of that. I mean, I've only got two. The second one already, like, she just slips under the radar. I imagine if you had a third, you'd just be like, are they still alive? Yeah, good, that'll do.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, how did your children fit in with these house renovations? And tell me, was that always a plan that you and Christian had that you were going to? I mean, it's not flipping houses, is it? Because these are your homes and you're living in these houses as you're doing them up with babies, which is.
It is still classed as flipping though, I think, because we're still never in it long enough to settle down. You know, it's always a profitable situation. So as soon as we know we can sell that property and make a profit, it's the right time. We strike while the iron's hot and then we sell it and then we move on to the next thing. And it's always deemed as, yeah, a project that would be a profit.
So, is that something that you guys had planned to do in the early stages, that you were both kind of up for that? And where did that idea come from? What was the motivation?
My dad's a joiner and we've not always moved a lot as a youngster myself, but I always knew there was money to be made in property, of course, you know, to improve your quality of life or to change things for yourselves and change things for your children's lives, I suppose. So I learned that we had some good skills and that if my dad could help us a bit, that'd save us on quite a significant amount of labour. Like the first house, he only spent 10 grand because we did it on the cheap. My dad did all the labour. And we made, I mean, it wasn't a massive profit, but it was enough to then buy the second one with 10%. And we'd only started with 5%, and we were buying a 3-bed semi next time. And then I'd used Instagram income to renovate the next one. So I didn't utilize any loans or anything. I just, it was still a small amount of money really in the grand scheme of renovating. But we managed to make quite a lot of money there because, again, family helped. Christian and I learned our own DIY skills and we did the majority ourselves. And then I utilised the increase in property value over lockdown because I think we moved in July 2020 and we sold it April 2023 is when we moved. We sold it in the January, but it was the right time. I know it was only 2 years, but I just knew, yeah, let's just get that one done and then get on to the next one. Kind of like have that momentum going where you're used to renovating. I think it'd be hard to settle down, enjoy it for too long, become accustomed to like the extra money for lifestyle. Whereas what we do is we're ploughing it all into the house, and then that fundamentally is your savings or whatever you want to class it as. That's our financial freedom, or it will be eventually. Hopefully, that's the plan.
So the plan is to keep doing this to yourselves.
Kind of. I think, well, no, I think this one, so they've done it. If we sell it for what I think we can sell it for, which will probably be in 3 to 5 years, Christian 5, me 3, but we'll maybe meet in the middle. I don't know. We'll have made enough money to buy the next house just of equity. So we won't have a mortgage anymore. So I wouldn't have to work potentially, or Christian wouldn't have to work. I mean, I really enjoy my NHS job, but all the pressure would go off me. So money could go into savings and we could potentially retire early, or we could be living it up, living a complete different lifestyle for NHS workers, because you haven't got that huge mortgage and overhead.
I mean, it's very clever, but it's also a lot of hard graft. I presume this is like your evenings, your weekends,
It is. It
all
is.
your spare time.
It doesn't take up every second of it, but when the projects are on, it is every second. So there's breaks in it. There are breaks. But you know why
Yeah.
there's breaks? Because the money's not there to do the work. If the money was there to do the work, there would not be any breaks. It would just be like bang, bang, bang. And yeah, it is exhausting, but we do enjoy it. And, we love getting stuck into doing a project and seeing the results at the end. And there's a lot of gratification in the Instagram account because of how much people enjoy doing it with you, and then the final result, it's much more than just your own investment in it. Thousands of other people are invested in what you're doing, so that boosts you on even more.
Yeah. Do you feel like you'd feel differently about the process if you didn't have that community, if you hadn't built it, if you
Yeah,
were just
I would
doing it
think so.
quietly?
Yeah, because I've got no one to
Yeah.
teach. I mean, my friends probably get sick of me suggesting certain ways to live your life, or someone does say you're like a life coach, lots of different ideas for different aspects of your life. I don't know, just kind of researching how do you better yourself, not just financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, everything. It's kind of, that's the kind of being that I am. I want to give that information to others. I love educating people around how to better themselves.
I can see just from the way you're talking about it that it really matters to you.
Mm,
Because I can imagine there are influencers that are kind of, it's a means to an end, isn't it? You're sharing value, you're sharing your story,
yeah.
but it's always about like, well, what are you going to get back?
And that does flip a switch when you're getting your accounts quite a bit bigger and the money does start to come in and you think, wow, this is really life changing, because it has been. But yeah, underlying everything that I do is all around that kind of self-worth, self-education, improving yourself, realizing what's important actually in life, because it isn't my goal isn't that we've got a lot of money. It's that we're financially secure and stable enough to live a life that we want to live, so we can feel just that financial security, but underlying happiness that goes with having less pressure. I want to live a
Yeah.
simpler life. Like the house I'm in now is too big. I always say to Christian, it frustrates me really. I'm cleaning rooms that
And no one goes in.
no one goes in. I'm cleaning them, but also decorating rooms that no one needs. So I
Yeah.
know we'll downsize a bit because I don't want the space. I don't need the size of it. I feel like we've got more than what we need and it's unnecessary.
So we bought this place in December 19
Yeah.
and literally took it back to the ground. Like it was a building project. It wasn't a renovation. Took the roof off. We took everything down. My dad was a builder. So similar to you, I think when you've got handy dads, it does kind of have a relentlessly positive impact on your life. Like a dad that can like fix anything. And, almost every wall in this house he built.
It gives you confidence, doesn't it, to do it and give it a go?
Yeah.
Because if it goes wrong,
Yeah.
they can fix it.
Yeah.
So mum was at home with us and dad worked on the building site.
Yeah, that's so funny because that's really similar to me. So my
Is
dad
it?
was a builder and my
Yeah.
mum looked after us. I think it's that thing of building something from nothing, like the reward of that. Like you said about renovating a house, you start with nothing and then you build something and you've got something. And just that simple process in itself,
So
there's a lot of
simple.
satisfaction to be
Yeah.
gained from that.
Yeah.
But it's the same with what you're doing on social media. It's the same principle, isn't it? You started with nothing. There will have been a point when you had like
No one. Yeah.
100 followers,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like this podcast right
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah.
You've got to start somewhere. I think what you've done and the kind of, I suppose, the objective behind it, to have a life where you just take away all of that kind of societal pressure
Yeah.
to achieve and to win and to buy stuff, to have all the things. And you can just strip that right back and be like, well, what's important?
Yeah, exactly. Like what was important growing up was that my mum was at home with us, whereas I had
Yeah.
literally have to work to pay the mortgage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's no let up there. And the NHS, the money isn't there in the healthcare at all, but it's what we're trained in and what we do. So it had to be a different way, a different income, a different way to improve our quality of life and lifestyle, really.
Yeah. I think you're doing it though, aren't you?
Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah, nearly done it. Nearly done it. The next one will be a reno. We might build our own house. I don't know, but it will be a reno because we'll want something decent and we'll have to put the work in. But at least next time we don't have the same pressure to get it finished and gone, to then make the profit to then buy the next one. The next time it'll be slower paced because there's no pressure to do it then because we'll have done it.
That's something to look forward to, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could drop down and you could work part time, or you could just do, I mean, how do you envisage that? Say money's not a concern.
So I've already dropped. I work 3 days in the NHS, but I really do love my job and we know where we are and what we're up to. I don't know what I'll
You
do.
don't have to decide now, though, do
No,
you?
no. I enjoy both, you see, I really do. But there does feel that underlying pressure to earn, whereas I'd love that not to be there.
Do you feel like, in some ways, a difficult question to ask, but do you feel like any of that pressure comes from you because you've got this goal that you set yourself, that you've got to be mortgage free?
Yeah, we're trying to work on our relationship because, you have 3 kids, you're together for so long, and we're just starting to like nuzzle down into not having more kids, not breastfeeding anymore, I'm not pregnant anymore, I'm not, all of that that's come with 8 years worth of trying to conceive, being pregnant, breastfeeding, trying to conceive, that rolling reproduction. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
pressure that comes in that sense, I suppose. And we're just coming through the other side and figuring out what's going on. That's my goal, I think. I have like a 20-year life plan, which then I said, oh God, I need to chill out a bit about that. Why am I so intent? Like, why has it got to be so, regimented, I suppose? It's not in some ways, but there's an overall goal. And I like to work back from that goal. I don't want to work till I'm 67 in the NHS, I'd like to retire
Yeah.
10 years early, be mortgage free 10 years prior to that. So we can save for 10 years, then we can retire 10 years early. But yeah, I do have to kind of remind myself that it might not be Christian's goal as well,
It's hard. I suppose what you're doing, and which is the case with anyone seeking a kind of financial freedom, you're front loading your effort.
Yeah.
It's a big effort in your kind of 20s, 30s
Yeah.
to do that.
It's a short, sharp hit now for reaping rewards. But he does say as well, but you could die tomorrow. And I think, God, yeah, you're right. But you've got to have goals as well. I'm a positive person, very optimistic, and I want to hit goals and targets, and I like that. A bit of pressure.
I'm the same. And I don't know, maybe it's a bit of boy girl in there, or maybe it's just completely individual. But yeah, my partner's like, well, we're living for today. What are we going to do this weekend? And I'm like, well, I've got loads I need to do because I've got to do, and I'm thinking of something else
Yeah.
that I've got to achieve. And that if I do this here, then that makes that, and he's like, but aren't we going to just like have fun?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't
No,
in my
no.
plan. I didn't plan to have any fun. So it's hard to reconcile that.
It is, yeah. We're just kind of wiggling through it. It's hard to even acknowledge the fact that you need to wiggle through it. You know what I mean? It's hard to step back, have a look, and then start those conversations that are a bit, I've got to be honest, awkward because you've not had to have them because all you've been doing is focusing on kids and survival.
Exactly, but that's it. You'd been in heavy function
Yeah.
mode Like you're just having your functional conversations. So how old are your children now?
So Albin's 7, Flo's 4, Teddy's 2.
Okay. So still young.
Very young.
So yeah, I've got exactly the same as you, except without the 7-year-old. So we'll take him
Okay.
out. So
Positive.
young, like there's still a lot of tantruming and you're only just coming out of babyhood with the little one.
Yeah, we're just peeking out of it. He's still not
Yeah.
sleeping.
It takes it out of you, like the nighttime stuff. I feel like in those early years, I really threw myself into work and into my own business. Just I was desperate to try and make some progress somewhere and get hold of a little bit of old me.
Yeah.
And it was like this striving and something that I was pursuing for myself.
Yeah, because I always knew I had my NHS job, and that's a professional qualification, and it's a good one, a physio. So I knew I had like this underlying career that was going back to. But the Instagram was always a bit of fun, a bit of a hobby, a bit of a side hustle, education. A lot of my earlier stuff was all around education, even more than DIY, I suppose. I used to educate people on my reels, or it was IGTV back then, about how to do Instagram, because people were always like, oh, could you tell us how to grow your Instagram? I probably only had 10,000 followers, but yeah, I used to be really invested in helping other people, and that gives me what I need. If I
Yeah.
know that I'm making a difference to someone else, then I'm always happy.
Did it surprise you how successful you were on Instagram?
Honestly, now I tell you, I know that that is what I deserve in a sense of how much I worked, how
Yeah.
much effort goes into it. It's hard to say that, I know, for most people, but actually, I do recognize that I put in 40 or 50 hours a week to progress on social media. Could be more. I don't like to really think about it in some ways, because you think, oh my God, yeah, it wasn't a surprise that it did well because of how much effort I put in.
Yeah. And continue to put in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And tell me about the community aspect of it. What transition do you want to bring about for the people who are following you? And why does that matter to you?
Because the following, or the people who follow me, say that they follow me for me rather than what I'm doing in the house. So that's an interesting thing as well. Because I never really thought that people would follow me for how I am as a person. I thought they'd follow me for the house, really, because we're renovating, and that's interesting, isn't it? And that's what you're kind of gaining followers around, I suppose. But people are staying because of something else. So they're following you for one thing, but they stay because you offer something else. I mean, really, it's all around education for people, around learning new skills in DIY and in general life, around building yourself back up again post having children. That's really important to me now, to showcase the journey that I'm in, to then hopefully encourage other people to do the same things for themselves, because as mums, we all deserve that,
I think this is one of the posts that I clocked that made me reach out to you about coming on this podcast, because that is something that really struck a chord with me, because I feel like I've spent like 4 years in leggings at least. And especially when you're doing like house stuff as well, all your spare money is going to the house.
Yeah.
And we're still not finished here. We've got rooms that I don't show anybody. I mean, this looks nice, but you should see around the corner. So it's an ongoing thing. And that annoys you because you walk past it every day. I don't know if you're the same. Like, I'm like,
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to finish that. This is doing my head in. So I'm not going to go and treat myself to a new top. And also, your kids need clothes. There's always something else that comes before mum.
Yeah.
And what did you call it? Like getting your pink back.
It was that professor, wasn't it, talking about how female flamingos are the only mammal on Earth that physically show how depleted they are in their hormones and energy post-birth, because they lose that bright pink, and that's why they're that duller pink, and that's why it's called getting your pink back.
I love it.
It's fantastic.
It's great. We should all do that. We should all go like grey just to show everybody.
Oh, I thought, yeah, if you cut me open, I'm like tar in there. Quite a nice tan on the outside, though.
Yeah, well, exactly. But this is the thing. Like we put on a good show, don't we?
Yeah.
You rally, especially if there's something social going on. You rally, you get your slap on. But actually, yeah, underneath, you're shattered.
I went out on Saturday night with one of my very best friends and my sister. And it still hits you in the middle of the day like, oh, they've not texted yet. They might not text. We probably won't go. What a relief. Whereas that would never have been on my mind at all. I've been texting the day before, would have gone out shopping and bought the clothes, Whereas my friend, she messaged and she said, oh, do you want to do porter and drinks rather than a night out? So then I was like, yes, thank God. So I just sat down the whole time. But now I think, oh, I wish we would have properly gone out and danced. Like, I shouldn't have eaten all that food instead of eating and sitting there. I wish I would have shown my outfit off and gone and danced and stayed up, and like I kind of regret that we didn't do that in the end. Whereas at the time though, I felt relief because of the strange anxiety around going out and, I don't know, your mood changes, doesn't it, as to what's important, I suppose, to you. And I know it's not always about drinking, definitely not, but mine would be more like dancing, chatting, wearing the nice outfit and just staying out late and having a good time. And yeah, the opportunities pass you by.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there'll be more, but I think it's just like going out into the world as your independent self. Like you just have, I suppose you're filling your cup and you've treated yourself, but now it's like, well, the impact that that has on the next day, and can you be bothered? And there's so much around, isn't it? Like endless stuff on social media, the best friends are the ones that cancel. You're like, oh, this is so sad. This is
It's
so
sad.
sad. It's
Yeah.
awful. So what have you been doing? Tell me about your journey. And is it a journey with fitness, a journey with like reclaiming your body, having donated it during your reproduction era?
Yeah.
What's that been like for you?
So I started with an online coach about 18 months ago in the January 2024. I paid to do like a 8-week short, sharp blast kind of thing with her. And then I had a break and I actually did the same thing again. I paid again. And then she contacted me in the September and said, do I want to be a one-to-one client for exchange of social media posting kind of thing? So I thought, all right, I'll give that a go. And then going to the gym. So she does all your gym programs. So I lift heavy weights. That's what I've always done. It's nothing new to me now. It's how I've always trained. And alongside that comes, I don't know, your skin looks a bit better and everything kind of just lifts. Your mood lifts because you're exercising. The endorphins with exercising are massive, aren't they? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm only doing 3 times a week and I don't get out really apart from with the kids for walking, but that's what I do and that is what I enjoy and that is really important to me and I make sure that I go and yeah, just really enjoy the sessions and that my body's changing and I feel just a lot better when I look in the mirror. And then I'd taken lots of nutrients and stuff like that, so my skin's improving and I'm working on like trying to sort my hair out because it went very, very thin after children. Yeah, it's like an overhaul. Christian doesn't know what's hitting. I'm just like, yeah, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, and I'm going to do a tan every week and you're going to have to do my back, so hold that thought. Ready with your sponge.
But that's great though. You're like shouting from the rooftops that you matter and that you're important and that you've donated all this energy to bringing these humans into the world. And now you need to take care of yourself and replenish.
Exactly.
It's really important.
That's what I'm doing. I'm telling everyone else to do it as well.
And what's the feedback?
Thank you. You've helped me so much to like regain my confidence and you've been so positive and it's helping me, along my journey in a similar sort of way. And it's just so, I don't know, it's lovely because it's vulnerability, isn't it? Sharing your body and putting it online and sharing anything that makes you a bit vulnerable. But people appreciate that. That's what they connect with, isn't it? Because you've got to be relatable.
Well, it's real, I think part of the reason that I wanted to start this podcast is I'm a bit of a podcast addict and I have consumed a lot of business stuff. And I was kind of just so tired of hearing interviews with people who are having like 7-figure months.
Yeah.
That's not relatable to me.
No.
And it's not normal. And it kind of just, you come away from it after a while and you just feel like, well, what, I must be doing something wrong. There's something wrong with me. And I think there are so many women who are striving with businesses, striving with projects like what you're doing, flipping houses. And I suppose with you, it's kind of generational wealth.
Yeah.
You're accumulating wealth through this hard graft at this early stage when you've got a young family that will see you and Christian through your retirement, stress-free, hopefully. And also sets you up to be in a good position to help your children.
Of course, I can help them. So things have changed already. We put money into ISAs for them. So I didn't have that growing up. There was no money left at all for us growing up. We didn't have abroad holidays, things like that. My kids get to go abroad on holiday. I always look for deals. I've got to say, I'm quite a savvy kind of shopper. But they get to go on holiday abroad at least once a year. And we didn't have that growing up. I didn't have like backup savings growing up from my parents or money for a house or money for a car. I mean, my grandparents saved for us, so I had money for driving lessons. So that was good. My parents did help with the first house deposit, as did Christian's parents. They both put some money in. But my parents had to remortgage late in life in order to help the 3 children. And, I just think, well, if we can get ourselves into a position where we can help our children a bit, but we can also live a much nicer lifestyle now while they're young, not just for when they've left. I mean, I want to enjoy it with them. So there's that sense of freedom, isn't it? Where if, on a Friday, if we say, should we get a takeaway, we can, because we never had that. So it's, it's that drive, isn't it, to change your life, what it was like for you growing up,
Do you feel like that is what's motivating you to put in all this work?
Yes, yeah. One of the bigger drives is that because our mum didn't work, she wasn't valued in the household. So I never ever want a bloke to speak to me like my dad spoke to my mum growing up. I want to show my dad that women are valuable and that we will earn a lot more than blokes in some circumstances, and that is how it is, and that's what I've done for us. However, what she's taught me is time is worth more than money, that it doesn't matter if you don't go abroad on holiday with your kids because they don't care, actually. They just want time with you. That's the key thing. So my reward as a child was to spend time with my mum, who was absolutely great. We had great adventures with loads of stuff, through the summer holidays. You could pick what you wanted to do. We'd go wherever and take picnics and have an absolutely great time. So I have fantastic childhood memories from her. And I try and instill that now. I only do 3 days, so I'm off 4 days a week and, do the pickups and the drop-offs. Phone-wise, I try and do it first thing post, and then I do it once I've gone to bed, really. I do nip on it in the day, but not much. I wouldn't impact our day too heavily. I'm mindful of that. But she instilled definitely that giving to community is the main thing. You want to have felt like you've improved other people's lives rather than your own. So it's that, selflessness, isn't it, really? And that's the key. I think that's the reason why we're here on earth, is to give to your community. I was trying to explain it to Christian. We might be the ones that host most of the time, but that's because of how valuable it is to bring people together and to open up those opportunities for them to spend quality time together. It's in our home. We're providing the situation, the food, the drinks, the house. But I enjoy that because I want to make sure that people feel great around us, because that's what my mum has always done. We always had the parties at our house for all the children. It was safe, it was great, and the social element was always really there and very, very important to her.
I love that. I'm the same. You go to endless kids' parties at soft plays and I can't bear them. I'm just like, you can't really chat with people, and then there's some like cold chips thrown around, and I just, it does my head in. Whenever the kids have a party, we just invite everybody here. I'm like, just come here, tear this house apart.
Oh, enjoy, yeah. Get stuck in, do what you need to do.
Exactly, and just run wild, and all the parents can talk to each other because the kids are just having a blast.
Yeah.
And it's a big cleanup operation afterwards, but why do you build a home if you're not going to like invite people to enjoy it with you?
Exactly.
Especially the way things are these days, like everyone's up to their eyeballs in activities and birthday parties and all sorts. The opportunities to come together are few and far between, and then all the mums are like hoping you're going to cancel. So to have a party or to just like give people an excuse to get together is so important.
It is, yeah, and I love it. I just think the point of hosting overtakes anything else. It's probably one of the most important things I think anyone can do for other people in society.
There's something very simplistic about it as well. You're just kind of breaking bread together, really.
Yeah, and see people enjoy your food. I mean, that gives me feels like that is what I enjoy, and Christians appreciates it. He likes it because I've brought that to the table. And he then says, it always makes me laugh. Everyone's gone. He always says, another success.
Yeah.
He hasn't done any other prayer, but he's enjoyed the fact that people have enjoyed what we've got to offer and how we use our home for other people to enjoy.
But it's the same as all the other things we talked about. It's creating something from nothing. You could just stay in that Saturday night and do nothing, watch TV. But instead, you have to go to a certain amount of trouble to make stuff happen, don't you? It takes, you were saying 40, 50 hours a week to start building your Instagram following. You're going to a lot of trouble to do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of graft to renovate a house.
Yeah.
But then at the end, you've got a beautiful house. Whenever I've done up a house, we did this one and I did my first baby house, which I bought in 2011, which again was like a little end terrace. It was very cute. But I feel like I've secured that house and it's good to go for another century, really. And you're kind of gifting that back. Even if you sell it, you're passing that on and it's now a beautiful thing, whereas before it was a rack and ruin. Yeah. And that's creating something from nothing in a sense. So it's the same principle.
Yeah, I know. It's all things that are important to other people, I think, give you the most value in your life, don't they? I don't know if everyone gets that or wraps their head around that so well. I think Christian and I are quite different in some ways. Like my mum and dad are very different. My dad does like that hosting element. He's very good at cooking and things, and I get a lot of confidence from cooking from him. And my mum, of course, from the hosting side of it and cooking as well. But he probably would prefer not to bother so much now, whereas she still would love to be hosting more because she sees the value in how much people enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's a bit of age in that. I don't know if I'll be. I mean,
Yeah.
my grandmother is amazing. She's just a hostess by nature, and
Oh,
she was hosting way into her 90s. But that's kind of what she is known for. That is her USP. But I've got amazing memories of that as well. Just kind of the
yeah.
whole big family gathered round at
Yeah.
Christmas or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely.
tell me about how COVID impacted all these things that you were doing. So how did that fall in terms of where were you up to with the babies? Where were you up to with the houses? Obviously, you were working in the NHS.
That took everything from us. Yeah, because physiotherapists were very much used on the front line. I might have been on community in Wrexham. COVID happened the March. We were called in. You had to go on HDU. You had to get all the training for proning. So you might have had to prone at night, but because we had a little baby, no childcare, no bubble was allowed at the time, was it? And we were both required, and we both still work in the same hospital. Proning was like a shift pattern thing. So we were taught it, but we didn't do it because we couldn't leave the baby at night. But what we did have to do is they classed us as one member of staff, and we had to work 12-hour days, 3 days a week. So the other person was on their own with an 18-month-old baby in a tiny terrace house with no garden, just a yard, while the other one was at work for, like, obviously it was 13 hours then because it was back into was half an hour. No matter what had happened in the day, obviously it was traumatic just going into the hospital. To strip all your clothes off at the front door, put them in a plastic bag, run past the baby who's screaming for you, up the stairs, get a shower, then you can go and hug your baby. That was it
Wow.
was horrendous, and it improved. So the first couple of months were awful, and then I got moved to D-side. So there was a big leisure centre, and I had to train staff with other members of staff to basically become like technical instructors, assistant physiotherapists, really, and OT assistants, because it was going to be a rehab unit or a rehab ward for COVID. It was 400 beds. So Christian and I were both based there at one point. And on a Sunday then, when it was allowed, I think we were allowed a bubble, my mum used to have Albie. So then we'd work together on a Sunday. And I'm sure we could accrue time in lieu because you got paid time and 2/3 on a Sunday. So the 2/3 went to something in the week, so you didn't have to go in as often separately. So you got more family time together because obviously having one day off a week, working 12-hour days each, opposing days because you had no childcare.
Yeah.
But honestly, I went into a hospital the other day and they hadn't taken down the screens and they still had all the 2 meter distance in the corridors and stuff. It's like quite an old hospital, and I had to go and do a fit mask test. And they put the big mask on your face, and you've got to breathe and walk around with it and move your head and do all these tests. And oh my God, I thought I got PTSD. It was horrific. It was absolutely horrendous. But we moved house in July 2020. So that house then was great because it had a garden. So it just changed your life completely. I felt like we were together more there because we didn't have the shift patterns that we had to adopt in the earlier COVID days.
Did you feel anxiety around your baby that you're going to bring COVID home in that first lockdown?
Yeah, it was horrendous. Yeah, I think we had to test ourselves each week to check we didn't have it. You were very mindful that that could come into the house. Yeah, it was horrendous.
And so then you kind of ease back into normal shift work. You've got two more lockdowns, and then another baby must have been on the way.
Yeah, so I was pregnant. You know, when we could have Christmas and you were allowed to have 5 people or 6 people.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out that it was a girl. So I was 20 weeks pregnant then. I fell pregnant as we moved into that house. But we've been trying for a long time. And I wouldn't have stopped trying because of COVID. That didn't enter my head. And someone said that to me on Instagram. I thought you wouldn't have been trying because of COVID, which I thought was, I don't know, a weird thing to say. But no, it didn't enter my head that COVID would have an impact on my having a child because of how long we've been trying for a baby for, you know. Also, I must say, working in the NHS, you were out and about in normality in a way because you went to work and saw colleagues and you weren't allowed to see your own family, but you saw colleagues. So you had that glimpse of normality, which was weirdly great. So even though the work you did was awful, it was terrifying, you actually had this little window of normality, which you hadn't had.
Yeah.
You're kind of lucky. You felt a bit lucky in a way. We were allowed to drive around because we worked together. And that felt like a bit of a treat to be out and about, no one else on the roads, going to patient, getting a McDonald's, just enjoying your life. We made the best of a bad situation.
But that definitely is valid because I mean it's anecdotal, but in my experience, just with friends and family, the people who isolated were the people that actually became all consumed by it.
Yeah, and so
We were quite lucky here because you could do your 30 minutes exercise.
yeah,
So at the time I was working in the family business and I was on maternity and I'd taken a hiatus from photography and we were building this place, which was interesting because again, like deliveries and all that stuff. And, you know, it was all a bit mad. Our half an hour exercise was to walk up here and we just fill skips all day.
Yeah.
And then if we had tradespeople in, they were not very good at socially distancing. You know, it's like, pass me that hammer and they're like right across your face and you're all sharing biscuits. And so actually we had a very normal experience as well. And I think that serves you better from a mental health point of view.
Actually, the NHS workers had a bit more exposure, knowledge, normality, so you were less terrified actually. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it all seems like a dream now, doesn't it? We touched on getting your pink back. Tell me what self-care looks like to you as a mum of 3 with a full-time job and a side hustle in the middle of a house renovation.
So do you want like the daily routine of what I do to look after myself? So I've slept through the night because Christian's got up. I've got up early. I've had my 2 coffees. Use like not a proper coffee machine. I've not got one yet. But, you know, cafetiere, so I get proper coffee. And I post on my Instagram and do that little bit of work there. But then I have a shower, make sure I have a shower every day. And then I have a lovely skincare routine. And I've always had that and it's really working well. So I do that. And then I do my makeup, I do my hair, I get dressed, put some half decent on, take photos. And that helps with doing a bit more fashion stuff on Instagram. If you're ready to have photos taken of your outfit every day or, you know, whenever you're off work. First thing that enters our stomach is protein, apart from the coffee. And then I have my vitamins and I have like nice nutritional food, nutritional stuff for everyone because it matters to me what I cook. I've always cooked well, but much more mindful of what we're eating. And I go to the gym 3 times a week. I've changed actually what I do with my friends. So if we meet up, we go for a walk and a coffee and a gossip and we do like a 2-hour hike chatting rather than going sitting in a cafe. And everyone's getting like 10, 13K steps in. So all's good. I feel like a lot of the mums really appreciate that kind of thing. I'm trying to like look after my hair, put a hair mask on. I'm started to wear perfume again and started to invest in jewellery and like different fun jewellery pieces, not just like standard day to day. Yeah, so those kind of things, which are much more about how I want to be seen, is important to me and always has been. But there was lots of things I didn't do because I had young babies. So the perfume and the jewellery, for example, or even like a handbag, now making an effort to take a handbag out rather than, I do have to take a big bag, but just to put a few of your own bits in. So all my stuff isn't lost in a changing bag.
Yeah.
It's small, but it's effective.
I was going to say, do you feel like these small acts have a big impact on your mental health?
Huge impact. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Without a doubt. I'd advise anyone to do it. And that's what I'm trying to do on my Instagram at the moment is encourage all the girls out there to put yourself first, prioritise yourself and just invest. That money on the top you don't buy because you're buying your kids' clothes. No, they've got loads of clothes. Like I'm getting the top. And, even using sites like Vinted, because I'm trying to be more mindful and buy slower fashion, better quality, longer lasting. And I'd shop on Vinted loads because the things that I would like to buy are £100 now, but actually on Vinted they might be 40 or 50, and I buy like one thing a month and we have spending money that we have solidly every month and it's the same. And, we're just working through improving myself overall.
Yeah, I think I really need to take heed on this because I think I saw, again, it's all on Instagram, isn't it? There was something going around and it was like, your kids don't need another dress, you need a new bra. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, thinking, I knew exactly what bra I had on. It was white when I bought it, but honestly, that may have been 7 years ago. And I've had two children since then, and it was thoroughly like grey. And this Instagram post just landed at exactly the right moment. And in my head, I think I thought that like bras were really expensive and they'd had the whole of COVID and I'd had all these babies. I've been in a nursing bra for years. And I was like, oh, bras are very expensive. I don't need one. This works fine. And then actually I just went to like M&S and got a white bra that was actually white. And it only cost me like 25 quid. I'm like, why have I been denying myself this joy of I'm putting on this like manky old bra for such a long time.
Yeah,
And
I
I
got
think there
that
is,
done.
yeah, but oh my God, I did. And it just makes you feel so much better.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is just these tiny acts of self-care.
It is. I saw one of my favorite Instagrammers. She wrote on one of her posts, one of her holiday must-haves. It's like a ritual, a new bra.
Yeah,
I thought,
nice.
you know what? That's good because you probably go on holiday 4 times a year if you're lucky, staycations included. So
Yeah,
yeah, 4 bras a year is what we should be getting ourselves, guys. We should
I think so.
bin,
Yeah.
bin the ones that have gone stretchy on the back and that have gone grey. Get your new bras
Yes.
out.
Yeah, definitely. It's about pride, isn't it? At the end of the day, like pride can't just be like you put on a necklace. Pride can go right the way down to like what knickers are you putting on today? Because that is going to make a difference to how
Absolutely.
you show up
That's where it
in the
starts
world.
with, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, last question. With all the experience that you've had in the NHS as a mother and it's as a social media influencer and all these hats that you're wearing, looking back, what would you tell your 8-year-old self?
Don't listen to your dad. You're going to do all right. No, definitely. Well, my mum instilled so much confidence as an 8-year-old. I would love to talk to myself as a new mum, where I was absolutely in the depths and dregs of sort of postnatal depression, more than a youngster. My mum balanced out anything, really. She made me feel like the best person, that I could do
That's really
anything.
cool. That's
Yeah,
really,
my
really cool, isn't
confidence has
it?
come from my mum's instill in us that we are wonderful beings.
It's amazing. It just goes to show, like, it's not about how much stuff you have or how many holidays you're going on.
No,
Like, you came out of your childhood feeling fully prepared. Like, I am Melanie and I'm great and I'm good to go. You're
yes,
ready to like grab life.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, I think you change it when you're in your teenage years or those early 20s years. But really, the lowest point in my life is after I'd had my first child, and I'd love to go back there, give her a hug, and say, "This is going to be all right. The mum's going to move closer. Your sister's going to move closer. You'll find, a wonderful second career that brings so much joy. You'll do well in your physio career. Your children are going to grow up, fantastic and really well loved and nurtured, and you're going to pull through. You're going to be successful and thrive in your life and provide for your family what you didn't have, in a sense, financially growing up. And I think to know that, I think I would also say, get going with your Instagram right now, as soon as it's but yeah, definitely about survival and you will get through it and it'll be all right.
And you feel like you really needed to hear that at that moment.
Yeah, that this is only a short period. I think my mum used to say, and my best friend who'd had a baby as well, always said that, it's these phases and now I understand that. But at the time you're in it, aren't you? And it's difficult to understand, but it all changes and there's different parts to enjoy about your child through each phase, I suppose.
Yeah. I think when you have your first baby, it's such an enormous shock to the system.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot for any new mum to grapple with in that. But yeah, you must be quite proud then to think that that's kind of the phase where it all started. You
Yeah.
know, the second career.
Like the goals, aren't they? Those life goals and what you want to achieve have been achieved already. Like I said, try and say to Christian, look at where we are now. This is a young age to be in a house like this, doing what we're doing. Really, the next part will be to do what your parents do when they retire, which is to downsize and become mortgage free, but at 67. We're going to do it at 40,
Your mum taught you that time's worth more than money. And in
Yeah.
a sense, what you've done, you've bought yourself kind of 25 years there.
Yes, of financial security. I think
Yeah.
my mum valued time over money, and I do, definitely. But she maybe would go the other way. We didn't have a lot, but so there's times that I think, oh God, would have been nicer to have had more. So making sure that the children don't feel that we don't have something. We don't really either, but it's not the be all and end all, is it? Like, it's your health that's the most important thing, and then time, because you're healthy and utilizing your time well. And the only way you can do that is when you're healthy. So, it's maintaining that kind of health and well-being underlying everything else, really.
It sounds like you've got it all figured out, Melanie.
I know, yeah. And then I think, oh God, I bet it's a nightmare to be married to me.
It's all, I mean, like you say, phases. When you're a parent, it changes all the time. You think you've got it figured out. And also with your own head, you feel like, oh God, today I just feel like I'm really on it. I feel like I've got it
Yeah.
all figured out. I'm straight. I know where I'm going. And then the next day, you just, you've got your makeup on, you've got your good knickers on, you're fine, your bra's white. But then the next day, your mood is different. And that's all kind of part of being a woman as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of riding those
The
mood
waves.
waves, but with
Yeah.
like a goal in sight.
And it's essential to have downtime and rest time. My mum always said, it doesn't matter if you're not asleep. Like when you had bad nights, and then I was struggling to sleep in the day because I'm not really a day sleeper, napper. But she said, as long as you close your eyes and have restful time, that's key as well. Especially when you're a new mum or a woman and you think you don't have as much energy in a sense. So yeah, as long as you're closing your eyes, that's actually just as valuable.
I feel like your mum and my mum would have a nice chat over a cup of tea.
Oh,
It's the sort of thing that my mum would say. She's always talking to me about the importance of rest, and I'm not very good at it. I
no.
inherited that off my dad, who she has to live with. So it's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But I've really enjoyed this conversation, Melanie. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah,
I know you've had a busy day and you can clock off now and go and chase those kids around upstairs in your upside down
yeah, I'm
house.
thinking they've missed their bedtime now and their dad's not even tried, but obviously he's keeping them out of my way and your way, so that's a good thing.
Well, he'll appreciate seeing your face then, won't he?
Thank you so much. That was great.
When it comes to achieving our goals, we're often told that tenacity and determination are the keys to success. And it is obvious that Melanie has both of these traits in buckets. It's all very well having a goal, but it's the strategy we put in place and the action we take to achieve it that moves us forwards. And Melanie's drive to achieve financial freedom and a simpler way of life for her family is impressive. I love her outlook on life, placing community at the heart of everything she does, whether that's hosting a dinner party for friends in her gorgeous upside down house, through her work as a physio, or sharing her story on social media to inspire other mums to get their pink back after children. She's made me realise that one new white bra does not a pink flamingo make, and I'll certainly be making more effort to follow her example there. Thank you so much for being here. I know your time is precious and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate and review the podcast because we want as many mums as possible to find us and join in the conversation. If you have thoughts, questions, love letters or even hate mail, please send them my way. I read every single message. For more resources and episode show notes, please visit our website at mummeansbusinesspodcast.com and find us on Instagram at mummeansbusinesspodcast for behind the scenes content and updates. Until next time, I'm wishing you only good things in life and business, and I will speak to you soon.